We've had a really good preseason, and with 4 scholarship players returning, there has been an awful lot to teach, an awful lot of learning to do, and the greatest challenge is our schedule is so tough, and it's so tough so early. But we're still okay until this week, where we had a really difficult week. Last Friday, TJ Lang had a mild MCL sprain and is probably out for a couple of weeks. His knee reacted just like it should have, and there really wasn't a ton of damage, but it's pretty sore, and he'll be fine, but he'll be out for a couple of weeks. Bryce Brown woke up Sunday morning with some stiffness in his back and has not been able to practice. It being Wednesday afternoon, I think he is probably doubtful for the game on Friday. The worst injury of them all occurred yesterday at the end of practice. We absolutely was having our best practice. A lineup of Taj at the point, Kareem at 2, TJ Dunnins at 3, Tyler at 4, and Sim at 5 was firing. They were firing on all cylinders. And towards the end of practice, Taj had contact with another player and hit his shoulder, his right shoulder. Took a real direct blow, and his shoulder dislocated again. Not the same dislocation. We believe his surgery held, and because his other issues, his shoulder was coming out the front based on reaching. This was a contact blow, and his shoulder came out the back. It's less severe. Obviously, it just happened, so Dr. Andrews will see him this weekend, and we'll know more. But I'd say we're looking at a month. What's tragic about it is that Taj was probably clearly in our top 2 or 3 players, our best defender, our leader, very much the heart and soul of what we've been doing early on. And that leadership will be taken over by others, but for Taj to have basically spent the whole off season rehabbing 2 surgeries, and for it to go out, even though it was a different injury, is just really tough. It challenges you, and so our heart is heavy. And as far as our team is concerned, with those early games of UAB and Colorado and Northwestern State, Georgia Southern, it's going to be really challenging without him, because he's a very important player to us. As a result of everything I've just told you, the 5 guards that will be playing the 1, 2, and 3 spots for us against Brevard will be playing their first game ever in an Auburn uniform. The guards I've got available right now are Kareem Canty, New Williams, TJ Dunnins. Let's see, I got one more. Zach Allison, who's a walk-on from Pelham, is that's like 4 or 5 guards. That's it. I mean, we're really, when you lose, and D'Angelo Purifoy is still not cleared. It's still an ongoing process. So no Taj, no D'Angelo, no Bryce, no TJ Lang. 4 guys all at that sort of same position. We'll have challenges.
So who's going to be your backup point guard for the short term?
I think for this first game it will be Zach Allison from Pelham, Alabama. It wouldn't surprise me if, as the week progresses, we don't look at TJ Dunnins at some point as well. I need to develop a 3rd point guard. New Williams has a chance to be a point guard someday, but right now New is really playing better off the ball. He's playing better shooting and defending and not having to worry about setting the team and running the team. He's been better on the wing. And so I've got to play him in his best position right now, and that's off the ball, not having the responsibility of a point guard yet.
For your starting lineup, will you use New as a third guard?
New Williams very well could be in the starting lineup. And a week ago, he wouldn't have been anywhere near it. But that's what having some depth is, and that's what next man up. Except it's next man, like 4 next men up. We're 4 deep on the next man up.
I know Zach was a good high school player. Tell us what type of player he's been in practice.
I'm excited for Zach. I really am, and I'm not worried about it. It's such a great story now. It really is. It was a good story before. I walked on at BC. I didn't make it, but I couldn't play. But that's how I got started and got cut. And my son Steven walked on at Tennessee, and his junior year, he was in the regular rotation going all the way to the Elite 8. Devin Waddell walked on, and he's on scholarship, and he played in the SEC tournament. When I was out recruiting a year ago, I was looking at some other players and happened to see Zach. And he impressed me with how hard he played, how effectively he played, his swagger, his confidence, his Goldilocks. I told his coach, because we're not allowed to recruit walk-ons, that if he didn't like his Division II or low Division I offers, which is I thought where he'd be, that if he ever did want to come to Auburn, because it's such a great school and a great place, and see if he could play at the highest level, just planted that seed. But from that point, you can't recruit him, you can't call him, can't have any conversation with him. But he came on campus where we could talk to him, and he decided to come. And I told him he'd have a chance to play. I just didn't know he'd have a chance to play in the first game.
This is Sunshine?
This is Sunshine. Ronnie Bass, Zach Allison.
So even though you're obviously shorthanded, what are you hoping to learn in this exhibition?
Brevard is extremely well coached. And I say that from a standpoint of they run Princeton, and they run it really, really well. So when you are a more talented team, which we clearly are, it's hard to get those guys who are going to be smaller. The harder you try to disrupt them, the more Princeton works. So it's sort of you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. We're just going to have to hang in there and deal with it. And it's just a hard offense to guard. And they do it really well. But there are Princeton elements to a lot of offenses. So one great thing about this opponent is that, coached by Lee Burgess, outstanding, is because there are elements of Princeton in so many of the offenses that we go up against, it'll expose us, give us an opportunity to work on some things. The other thing, too, they run a little matchup zone, and that'll be something that's a little different as well. So it's clearly a different prep.
Bruce, you kind of talked about sticking with a 3-guard lineup. Is there any consideration maybe just putting a third forward in instead?
Sometimes to play your best players, you've got to try some different things. So we very well may look at somebody bigger that traditionally hasn't played the position at some 3 just because we need the body and need to look at it.
Will Horace come off the bench here at least again?
I'd expect Horace to come off the bench. I would. Tyler and Sim, because they're both seniors, because they played pretty well, are probably going to look to be the early starters. But Horace will get starters minutes. I mean, he's going to play a lot, and he needs to play. He needs the exposure to different things. He's going to make you go ooh and ah and oh no, all in the same play.
Can Devin play 3 or 2 for you?
Devin could probably play. He could probably play anywhere, but I think I'm going to let Devin. Right now, Devin's playing pretty well at the 4 and the 5, and I think I'm going to go ahead and let Devin continue to stay there because you got a chance to be in the regular rotation at that position.
How about Don? What are you thinking about him?
Jordan's gives us a lot of flexibility, and as a senior, Donnie's a great teammate, and I think he's a guy that can move around between a number of different positions, and so he gives us great flexibility. He cares, and we obviously have more depth in the front line than we did a year ago with Sim, and and with Tyler Harris and Horace Spencer, both in the regular rotation. That changed our front line a little bit, and obviously affected Jordan's role in playing time. But that's going to let me maybe move him around and look at him in some different spots. And he's still going to be a very important leader for our team.
Bruce, with TJ out and now Bryce also out, where do you think maybe the outside shooting is going to come from for the time being?
We're going to get open looks against Brevard, and TJ Lang and Bryce Brown were guys that pretty much it's money, and so other guys will just have to step up and make shots. I know, watching practice and looking at some of what what we get, you're going to get some looks in the perimeter, and I know that those guys for sure were just disappointed that they couldn't go.
Very good.
Just one last, it's a little off topic, but how did you kind of deal with the first losing season that you've had in your career during the off season, throughout the season? How was that different?
When you say that to me, it's almost like it doesn't even. I have no recall. What I recall was the pain of leaving the arena way too often. I'm going to park someplace else. I'm going to come in and out of a different door. Because we just left here, I left here sad, and I left here not sure what else I could do to help my team, and I left here knowing I disappointed our fans and everything. So my record means nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm not kidding. I'm being honest about the pain of losing now. But having a losing record for the first time doesn't mean a thing to me. And I think the other thing would be this, that I would trade my losing record, I wouldn't, for the way we ended. Give me the way we ended. Give me winning 3 games in the SEC tournament and feeling good about that. I'll take the losing record if it's the first time I've had a losing record. The losses were tough, and they were tough on my players. As I continue to try to come back the next day, okay, let's do this, and let's try this, let's do this. They kept on buying it. And we kept on getting beat by better teams.